This is sports stuff. Betting stuff.
Ciao.
That was an interesting way to get things started, Jim, with a "Blah" situation there. I'm not sure what that means, Jim.
I was trying to do
Thoughts?
something new, man. This week kicked my ass. So I'm trying to do new things. I'm at the beach. I'm relaxed. Trying to do new things here, bud.
All right, you got the beach relaxed with the drink in your hand.
Not currently. I've had a couple drinks throughout the week, but today is a sober day for me.
Sounds like a terrible day.
Yeah, when you get to a certain age, you can't do it every day.
That's that's a loser mentality. Maybe that's
Yeah,
why you didn't do well
well,
this week.
I don't
no,
know. I'm kind of with Jim.
trust me.
All right, this is Sports Stuff, Betting Stuff, the number one sports betting podcast coming out of the Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff Enterprise. I'm your host, the original degenerate, Muff, alongside the Ohio Homer, the Ohio Degenerate, and the capo of the Midwest Crack House, Jim.
Hello, friends.
And lastly, joined by the guru of all things weather and the medical degenerate, although now I am starting to question that title, Alex.
Yeah. After misdiagnosing my brother's broken arm.
That's right. You
Let's
heard
just
it here
laugh it
first.
off.
I pulled on it multiple times and said, "You're fine."
Oh man,
Had you been drinking,
I don't think you
Alex?
should say
No,
that.
I wasn't. I was actually on call as a medical provider and at his baseball game. And he went down looking 3 times in a row. I mean, not just went down looking, did not swing the bat. And he told my dad, he's like, "I can't swing the bat. My arm hurts too bad." And we're like, "Suck it up. You look like an idiot." And he's like, "I'm trying, but I can only swing to here. And then my arm just won't turn any farther." And we're like, "You're fine. Get back out there."
Guess what, Alex? Newsflash. He was not fine.
Shout out to Nick. Real sorry about your arm.
Real sorry about that. So as always, we have our tokens, our totems, our items of good luck. Jim, what do you got?
I got the Kraken hat. I'm just gonna call it a bad week. Had nothing to do with the hat, but ooh, rough.
Alex?
I have my boonies hat, and we are down in the trenches.
In the trenches. Alex, down in the trenches, you came out victorious this week. We'll
I
get
was
to
the
that.
only one.
But I have
I mean,
my
your record's off. My record's off. Your record's off.
oh no,
So,
it's accurate.
well, per you,
Well, per the show. And lastly, I have my blender sunglasses. I was making these cool before Dion was even thinking about them. Blocking out the bad bets.
Hater blockers.
Hater
blocking
blockers.
out the truth, maybe.
Jim, would you like to elaborate?
We'll get there. We have time.
Oh, we're not there. Got
We'll
it.
get there. We'll get there.
Got it.
So we're going to go over our best bets and our specialty picks from last week, followed by this week's slate, and then our picks for this upcoming week. Today is Thursday, October 5th. We've made it to October. Lots of fun times ahead in the football world this October. As always, FanDuel is our exclusive betting app. Hashtag FanDuel.
FanDuel?
FanDuel.
FanDuel. Got it. FanDuel. Okay.
FanDuel. FanDuel, we're still, overall, I'd say we're still doing well. Disregard certain things from this past week, but it's okay. Everyone has down weeks. We'll pick it back up. You can follow us on the Action app to see all of our bets, whether they're best bets, sometimes otherwise. On the Action app, you can download that and follow me at CMcPherson20. You can follow Alex.
At the Real Medical Degenerate.
And Jim.
Buckaville Butcher.
Bingo, bango. So let's get right into last week's recap, starting with the person who had the best record last week, Alex.
All right. So my week went as such. The NFL, I was 2-1. I had the Cowboys -7 versus the Patriots as a win. The Commanders +8.5 at the Eagles was a win. And I went 2-2. 2-0. And then in the college world, I went 2-3 Washington minus 17.5 at Arizona was a loss. The Kansas-Texas over 63.5 was a loss. And Louisville minus 3.5 at NC State was a loss.
Was a win. You've already been brainwashed.
What Alex just said was a loss. Minus 3.5 is a loss.
Yeah, because he caves to you. He's susceptible to bullying.
Well, let me get over the other two wins.
You're susceptible to the truth, Jim. Oh wait, you're not.
Minus 13.5 at
Yeah,
Vanderbilt.
Muff, you said it right. That was Freudian.
Notre Dame minus 5.5 at Duke was a win.
I don't think that's Freud, Jim.
I think that you should go to Jim so that we can discuss the issue.
All right, Jim, have at it, buddy.
My record was not good. I went 2-5.
1-6. Got it.
I lost the ball.
You didn't even you can't even lie about this correctly.
It should be 1-5-1.
If you're gonna go anywhere, it's that way.
All right, fine. 1-5-1.
I still don't agree, but
Virginia at Boston. I took Boston and lost.
Boston.
I
When
hit
did
the
Boston
Notre
get a
Dame
football team?
Listen, buddy, I'm not gonna let you pull your shit on me today, okay? Notre Dame, I hit minus 5.5 at Duke, and then I lost the minus 2.5 at Ole Miss, 3.5 Utah, minus 17.5 at Arizona, and minus 21.5 at Colorado. Instituting a new rule: will not bet on another Colorado game for the rest of the year. But I did hit the bet in controversy here.
You didn't hit it.
I pushed the Louisville game.
Can you identify what money line dog is, Jim? Can you please show us your
A money line dog has nothing to do with the situation.
Well, I just want to make sure you understand the difference between a push and a loss and a win.
I pushed this game.
Did you?
Because I did in fact take the I can't even think right this second, get me all flustered. I took the spread at 3.
What game?
It's the Louisville NC State game.
So as soon as we logged off here from recording, Jim and I placed our bets. Jim and I placed our bets at
and Muff saw it
because it was literally placed. I'm not even kidding you. The second we got off here, so while we were recording, the line actively changed. Jim and I didn't realize what had happened, and we're very excited, thinking that we pushed the Louisville game. Muff is holding us to the standard of the line that we told the loyal listeners was minus 3.5, and he will not budge on that, saying that we have to
not because he's the leader right now in this.
Jim, I don't think you're in jeopardy of catching me at the moment.
Wow, every little win counts. I understand that
you just want to win.
Moralize the little ones. I get it, but
still not a win. I mean, you're still misusing terms.
Well, what you consider a win in the race to beat you, I get it, but it's a win to me when I'm trying to catch somebody because it's not a loss. If it's not a loss, it's a win. You can call it a tie, whatever.
Well, it's not going in the win column, even if we cave to this.
It's a push, and therefore not a loss.
Okay. So I'm going to bring this up, and we're going to get there very, very quickly after I'm done. Does that mean that our pick that we discussed about Seattle money line doesn't count because they were no longer money line dogs by the time everything went down?
Did it change when we entered it right after the show?
I entered it as a money line dog.
I entered it as a money line dog as well, but by the time the listeners and or people that are following our social media saw the game come out on Monday,
when we entered it into
3
the
points
app,
difference.
When we tell the listeners to go follow, we entered it in correctly. What the graphics man who's in charge of graphics decides to misuse for his own personal gain is not my business.
Well, it's not my job to monitor the lines, put together the notes, and monitor your action app.
But you saw it because you saw your bets were going in
and
my bets were going in.
I wasn't looking at your bets.
You knew what we were doing.
I was not looking at your bets. I don't look at your bets aside from what's in our notes.
I contend you tried to screw us over.
Did I like your bet? I did not.
You screwed us over. Of course you didn't like it.
Because it was a loss. Why would I like a loss?
You hurt us. You hurt us on purpose.
All right, so Jim went 1-6. It's now 15-16.
Let's do this. At the end of the year, if our push would make a difference, we'll make Muff admit that we should have better records than we did. And if it doesn't make a difference at the end of the year, we'll just forget it happened.
I agree with that.
Okay. I think that's a good middle.
All right. So Jim went 1-6 with a question mark, is now 15-16 with a question mark for the year thus far. Alex went 4-3 and is 19-12, again with question marks there. I went 3-3 this past week and I stay status quo at 20-9 as my mark for the season. I lost the USC to cover 21.5, traveling to Colorado. I lost Washington to cover 17.5, traveling to Arizona. Both of those were unexpected losses the way those games had started. So I would expect to maybe win one of those of the two.
Yeah, I agree.
I also lost the Broncos Bears under 46 because for some reason both of those teams decided to have offenses.
Yeah.
But that happens.
But if you look in hindsight like that, we should have seen that coming. In hindsight, with all the hype, we should have seen that coming.
Hype on what? That it was going to be a bad game?
Yeah, and that Fields was going to try to show out, and that Denver was going to try to rebound. Like it had the makings for an offensive day. We should have seen that.
I mean, this is more that the Broncos came back from a big deficit and somehow scored a whole bunch of points.
What I'm saying is like the script. If we'd have read the tarot cards, and I'm saying in hindsight, trust me. But like that's not as like jaw dropping as some of your other losses, where you're like, what? How? Why? That should not have happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did win Michigan to cover 17.5 against Nebraska, Notre Dame to cover 5.5 versus Duke, and I won the 49ers to cover 14 hosting the Cardinals. Which brings us to our specialty picks, starting with the Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week.
Pow, pow.
This is the one I wish would have won of those two, and it's Washington to cover 17.5 when they traveled to Arizona to take on the Wildcats. That was a loss, bringing the hit stick pick to 2-3 for the season.
Not doing well. Not doing well.
But on the other flip side of this coin, we have the Midwest Mobster risky pick.
Get out of here.
Was the Seahawks locking in that money line early, traveling to New York to take on the Giants, improving the risky pick to 4-1.
I think you should hit that risky pick. I think it's becoming a thing.
I've put a half unit each week.
I put a whole one.
I'm talking to the listeners, boys.
Oh, sorry.
Well, they should be doing exactly what Alex is doing then.
Yeah, exactly. Follow Alex. Not me after last week. I need to rebuild your confidence, listeners. I get it.
And last, in the Lolita whale of a parlay, we lost. Jim was banished from last week, and the Washington minus 17.5 at Arizona, which was the hit sticks insert into the parlay, was the loser. Alex and I's picks for this were both winners. Alex took Missouri to cover 13.5 at Vanderbilt, and I took Notre Dame to cover 5.5, traveling to Durham, North Carolina.
I'm excited that we're back to 4 because when I thought we were going to win, I was like, it is a win, but I just don't feel the same when we win with 3.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you.
Right. So Jim is back in this week. Actually, the whole team is back in because Alex and I both won our individual picks. It was Mr. Allstott that screwed the pooch, which means we keep Allstott in though, right? We don't banish the Allstott pick.
No, okay. That doesn't get banished.
I don't know.
No banishing. I want the other options.
I'll go with you.
The other options put the risky pick in.
We could do a replacement.
I say we stick with what we got because we don't want to hurt the risky pick's chances because he's on a eater.
I feel like you don't want to put too much pressure on it.
Yeah, I say we go back to what it was and we'll see what happens.
Which brings us into NFL Week 5. Starting on Thursday Night Football as the Bears travel to our nation's capital to take on the Commanders. Commanders favored by 5.5, over under 44.5.
I know it's kind of a thing that we don't bet on Thursday night games, but I really want to take the Commanders here.
I do too. I agree with you. I'm leaning that way. That Thursday night is a thing. I also can't necessarily. I gotta reach out to Muffnack to place my bets. So there's There's some things I might miss out on because Muffneck has a lot of other people to use promotions on. But
Muffneck does not. Muffneck's totally legal in all of his betting endeavors.
right, but other people may be, reaching out to Muffneck. But there's a lot of promos going this way, some profit boosts, this game is enticing, it's all hell. So I am definitely leading Commanders -5.5.
Yeah, I'm staying away. And that's not just because
Please,
it's not just
tell
because
us
it's
why.
Thursday. So the Bears show that they can at least, and again, granted, it's against just an absolute dog shit Broncos defense, and that was really last week was the battle of the defenses.
Yeah, but then they got mollywopped.
Okay, they lost by like 3.
But
The
they
second
were up
half
by
was
like
bad.
21.
I understand.
Okay.
It's a short week. The Commanders should theoretically be able to move the ball against the Bears. I do not. This is just more of I don't know enough about either team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, to feel confident in anything. I just don't have any confidence in going anyway on this pick.
Muff has not done enough to steer me either way, so I'm still leaning.
Okay. Alex leaning as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we get on to Sunday morning football. Correct. We are again in London town,
Back in London town.
where the Bills are officially the home team.
Yeah, but the Jags didn't leave London, so edge to Jacksonville.
There is a slight edge to Jacksonville there. I agree with the whole travel situation. The Bills favored by 5.5 over under 48.5. The Jaguars have received the eligibility of one of their offensive linemen, Mr. Robinson, from the betting situation.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
now eligible, so I don't know if he's
Got a
starter or not.
reprieve.
He did. Questionable for the Jags. Still include Zay Jones at wide receiver, as well as Agnew, one of their lower level receivers. The Bills still without Von Miller at linebacker. Tre'Davious White is out, as well as Mr. Spector at linebacker, and Jordan Poyer is questionable at the safety position. I am still leaning Bills here.
Yeah.
I understand the travel and everything that comes with that. The Jags have been there for a week. Still, the Jaguars are definitely not any better of an offensive team than the Dolphins. In fact, they're worse.
Yes, much worse.
And I think the Jaguars have a better defense, but I think the Bills are starting to come into their own. As far as an offensive team, granted they are without some defensive players, some key defensive players, and Jordan Poyer is questionable, and I'm sure the travel across the pond is not helpful in his recovery. But I'm still going to lean the Bills. I'm not going to lock this in yet, but I'm leaning there.
The over 48.5, I like.
Okay.
But I didn't look at the weather.
There's nothing of note. There's
Nothing
not a lot of weather that's coming into play
Yeah.
this week.
I'm leaning the over.
I think the London thing is a big situation for me. I also think the time, that'll just piss me off on a Sunday if my bet doesn't go that way. But the fact that you two are leaning on it kind of makes me want to jump on it.
It's a good way to start your Sunday morning. Just saying.
Yeah, if you hit, right? But I'm on a little bit of a tilt, so I don't know how I'm feeling. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I'm trying to lean towards the Bills if I had to pick.
Calm down, Brady.
Right?
All right. Next, in normal Sunday time on the East Coast, we have the Texans traveling to Hotlanta to take on the Falcons. Falcons favored by 2 over under 41.5. Falcons have no injuries.
Don't care. Staying away.
I agree.
After watching the Texans versus the Steelers, I will also stay away. If I hadn't seen that, I would have gone heavy on the Falcons.
No. Bye. Next.
Panthers at Lions. Lions favored by 9.5. Over under 44.5. Jameson Williams comes back to eligibility in this game for the Lions.
Everything screams take the Lions, except that 9.5 scares the shit out of me.
And the injury report.
Yeah.
which the Lions have a whole lot of people on their injury report, including
but
Mosley and their
they
number one
have for weeks.
receiver, Amon Ross St. Brown. Amon Ross St.
We've
Brown.
been saying that for weeks, though.
What? Amon Ross St. Brown hasn't been on that report for weeks.
Okay. All right. That's true.
So I'm staying away again. I think I'm leaning with Jim on this. I think he's just too high of a number for me right now.
No like.
100% agree.
Titans at the Colts. Titans favored by 1.5, over under 42.5. Titans still have an offensive line. Skoronski, I guess, had an appendicitis situation. That's why he's been out. Appendicitis. I said it.
Okay.
Treylon Burks, who is their number 2 wide receiver, is questionable, as well as a couple other players on their team, not really of note. For the Colts, Kelly and
they got their quarterback back.
I'm leaning Colts plus 1.5 here.
It's a good lean. I like that lean.
I don't dislike the lean. My only hesitation is that it's a Mike Vrabel defense against a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, will you put that in my stack, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you two are looking towards that one. Next, we have the Giants traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Dolphins minus 10.5, over under 48.5.
Oh, after that Giants game on Monday, I want it bad. I want the Dolphins bad. I like the over, but tell me why I shouldn't.
Okay, first off, if you have the over in your head, just knock that right out.
Okay.
I'm going to say that's a bad idea.
Okay.
I don't think the Giants contribute much, is the problem.
That's good.
And I don't think the Dolphins got another 70-point effort in them to hit that by themselves.
That's it, right? Like I'm smashing narratives. I'm smashing games together, going, "Ooh, that's like a 70-point game."
Right.
You're right.
That was an anomaly of the situation. Now, if you were interested in Dolphins minus 10.5, again, that 10.5 is the scary part. I do think the Dolphins,
right?
Yeah, I do think the Dolphins win this game. I do think the Dolphins dominate the game, but does that translate to a 13+ point win? Not sure. This could be one of those second half Giants are down by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and in the fourth quarter they score some garbage points against like the second string.
Yeah.
So
do we think Daniel Jones makes it that entire game? Because what's his face for the coach for the Giants did not look happy.
So yeah, I don't think at this point it's going to be very unlikely to me that they bench Daniel Jones, right? When he signed his contract, he was one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, and I just think they have to ride him out for. I think he's got 2 more years left on his deal, so I don't see them getting away from that. And if they put somebody else in, you may as well just phone it in for the rest of the season, because who's their backup? Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, if they tank it, that'd be a team to tank, right?
It's possible that they could tank, but I also think if you sit Daniel Jones, and what message does that send to Saquon Barkley, who they weren't willing to sign, and they're willing to bench their $30-40 million quarterback?
Oh yeah, that's fair. Good point. Good point.
I think this is a messaging situation, but yeah, I'm staying away.
Okay. All right. Let's hear what you Yinders have to say.
Ravens at the Steelers. Ravens favored by 4. 38 is the point line. We're going to have some wind in Pittsburgh on Sunday. Small chance of rain. I think it's like less than 10 or 15%.
Great passing game.
What?
I said that'll really hurt our great passing game.
The Ravens, Bateman and Beckham are still questionable, along with tackle Stanley. For the Steelers, Pat Freiermuth is out, along still with Deontay Johnson. One of their offensive linemen, Daniels, is questionable. Kenny Pickett is questionable, although he came out today and said that he is planning to play.
This is the battle of the limp dicks and Lamar Jackson. Like, there's just Lamar Jackson and everybody else is broke.
You're not wrong.
Like, from both sides.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. This is, can Lamar Jackson by himself make this happen?
Will the Ravens pass the Steelers?
Right.
Because everybody else is broken.
Right. So I don't think, if it is windy, which is like 19-20+ mile an hour winds, does not help the Lamar Jackson passing situation.
He's not going to throw it anyway.
Right.
Not in
So
this situation.
I'm gonna stay away, and this is purely because I don't want to lean towards the Ravens, so I'm staying away.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm 100% what Muff said.
Yeah, me too. No, thank you.
All right. Saints at Patriots. Saints favored by 140 is the point line. There will be
Who is
some
the
wind
quarterback
in
for the
New
Saints?
England. Derek Carr.
Is he playing? Was he healthy last week?
Yes.
He played last week. Jameis Winston went in and threw like one pass at the end of the game, which was an interception. So I am leaning very, very hard with the Saints on this one because the Patriots pretty much have lost their entire defensive backfield over the past 3 or 4 weeks,
Here's the
including
rub. Billy
Matthew
Belichick's not
Judon.
going to take that hit twice.
Including
Worst
Matthew
loss
Judon.
of his tenure there.
That's fine. They did not get any healthier or better as a result of that game or after that game.
Bill ain't going to let it happen twice, bud.
Leaning,
It's not going to happen.
leaning very hard the Saints to cover.
I'm staying away. I just don't see it.
Alex?
I am going to stay away. I just already was going to stay away. I'm going to stay that way.
He's already making moves. Bill's already getting what's his face from the Chargers back. He's already in the lab making like as many plays as he can to make it better. You got to believe he's got Mac Jones tied to a wall, beating him to death till he learns the playbook correctly. Like, Bill is not going to let this go down this way.
Listen, we've been saying that for a couple years now, and guess what's continued to happen?
Bill let
Yeah,
me go
but
down that way.
I just,
I mean, I
if it
understand where
does,
I
it
understand where
does,
you're
but I
coming
ain't putting
from.
my money there.
Okay, I'm leaning pretty hard. It might be locked in later. Bengals at Cardinals. Bengals -3 over under 44.5. Bengals T. Higgins is questionable along with tight end Smith Jr. This says a lot about how the betting world feels about the Bengals.
Yeah.
Only
And
I
favorite.
want to take the Bengals.
I want to as well. Like, I think this lines up perfectly for like a Jamar Chase breakout game.
Yep.
But if T. Higgins isn't out there, then they can just key on him the whole game.
Yep.
That's
So,
yeah.
And I'm gonna stay away because the Cardinals just continue to surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Feels
it's
we
not
get burnt by the Cardinals too often to make this our deciding to let the Bengals come out game.
right. And it's possible we could line up a defensive line against the Bengals offensive line and somehow get pressure on Joe Burrow. Like, it's possible.
You're not wrong.
It's possible. So for that, I'm staying away. Eagles at Rams. Eagles favored by 4.5 over under 50.5. Boys, I'm leaning hard on the Rams plus the points.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't get it.
Very hard. Let's look at the Eagles injury report. They continue to be without 2 defensive backs, Rodgers and Maddox, as well as having questionable options this week in their safeties in Evans and Brown. And the Rams, Cooper Kupp is most likely not going to play in this game. Kieran Williams is questionable for this game for the Rams, but the Rams have hung in well, and the Eagles have, while they have pulled away late in games and have been overall impressive with the overall result, I think sooner or later there's going to be a game where they get stuck in a dogfight, and this is one that I feel like could be a dogfight for the Eagles. They're traveling across the country. They're going to LA.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that this is the Eagles get got, but I think this is one of those that they find themselves in a dogfight with 5 minutes left in the game. So for that reason, I am leaning hard on the Rams plus the points. Probably going to lock that in, but it has not been confirmed.
Alex, put it on my list, please.
The Rams?
No, put the game on there. I'll figure it out at the end.
Okay.
All right. Alex, thoughts?
I was leaning towards the Eagles, but I think you've kind of made me nervous.
He did take the piss out of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Listen, Alex, you came off a winning record. Don't let me.
I know. No, I know. I just have some stuff I like better, so I doubt.
This is a betting show. We give our opinions, and those opinions don't have to match.
No, I know. I just doubt I go that way. I have some other stuff I like better. I feel like so.
Hopefully,
Chiefs.
Muff catches one of these shit weeks, and we can catch back up to him. We've done it before.
It's going to take you a couple weeks, buddy.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Chiefs at Vikings. Chiefs favored by 4. There's the explicit rating, which still has yet to reappear. So we apologize to any loyal listeners that have their kids around and then they find these F bombs. We don't have a Pat McAfee Dick Good out there that's
Right,
doing
right.
some tape delay for us. Chiefs
Oh
favorite.
wait, I forgot something.
Yeah.
I know that I wasn't on the Sunday show, and I got to listen to it on the way home from the beach. But did you guys watch Pat McAfee today?
No.
Apparently, the governor of New York has allowed beer sales to start at 8 a.m. in New York for the Bills because the kickoff is early on Sunday.
When does it start? Typically noon.
Yeah,
10?
because football starts.
Football
So they're
runs
gonna. They say, hey, Bills fans, shout out to you. And she even tweeted it. She's like, hey, I know the kickoff is early. Beer sales are early. That's a person, like Pat says, for the people.
For the people. And was there also a discount in all of the local suppliers of tables now? Or are they
Well, that's what-
are they jacking up the prices? Is this a supply
I
demand
forget who
situation?
said it. I forget who said it. Somebody was like, I hope they don't take all the tables out of the restaurants because the beer sales are starting early. For sure. Sorry,
Listen,
Bob. I didn't mean to interject.
Oh
but
no, listen, this is a business opportunity. If you sell those tables, you may as well times 2 those prices. They're going to buy them.
For sure.
They're going to
For
buy them.
sure.
Take advantage. Get them all boozed up and say, just sit outside the stadium and sell those tables at like
Tables here.
$30-$40 a piece. They will go. Listen, maybe this is a new business idea for the crew.
Right? Sports stuff with Jim and Buff tables. Only
Right.
sold in Buffalo.
That's it. All right. Chiefs -4 over under 52.5.
I'll tell you one bet I'm going to make on this game. Ain't no Taylor Swift in Minnesota.
In the dome.
She's not going.
Confirmed.
I'll bet money on it.
I think she actually is like about to go off on an international tour.
That's what someone else
sure
said. I
she
was like,
is.
thank goodness.
I don't know if that's this week or next week or the week after, but it's sometime within like the next month.
She ain't going to Minnesota. I'll tell you that.
She's not going to be with Lizzo. All right.
Oh,
I'll take that as a no. Take that as a
kudos
no.
to you. I lean the Chiefs here.
Chiefs to cover.
Yeah, I lean the Chiefs here.
That's I don't. Yeah, I'm not upset with you taking that pick. That's not a bad pick.
Yep.
Alex.
Chiefs is enticing, but no.
Okay. I'm also staying away. I don't have any problem with what Jim said. It's just I don't know. It's sooner or later the Vikings. I'm not gonna say the Vikings win, but the Vikings have to be in a spot in the fourth quarter. They have to come out on at least the right side of the spread. Jets at Broncos. Broncos favored by 1.5 over under 43.5.
Could the Broncos be a money line dog?
No. They're favored.
Lord.
They're the favorite, Jim. The favorite cannot be the dog.
I have Jets plus 1.5 on my list.
I flirted with this for a good 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, Alex, as I was working through. And the Broncos defense is dog shit, right? Justin Fields threw for 300 plus on them.
But Zach Wilson was so close to
right? He was so close, but guess what he did in crunch time? He fumbled a snap.
But I don't know if there will be a crunch time versus the Broncos. Like, I think that the Jets have it in them to not get to the wire with the Broncos.
Well,
I picked him up in a fantasy league.
Yeah, it's not a bad pickup. This is the Jets defense, right? The Jets defense should be able to contain Russell Wilson and that offense easily.
Yeah,
especially without Jamal Williams. I forget Williams, the running back for the Broncos. He is questionable. So yeah, listen, Alex, you can lock that in, and you will get zero blowback from me on that if you do it.
Yeah, I'm locking it in.
That might be an
You're locking what in?
Jets plus 1.5.
Me too. Lock
Jim,
it in.
That would be a money line dog.
Lock it in, Alex.
All right. In Sunday Night Football, the 49ers host the Cowboys. 49ers favored by 3.5. 45 is the points line. I'm gonna ride this train. I'm gonna take the 49ers to cover.
Me too.
I
Lock that son bitch in.
The Cowboys are now without Diggs, as well as one of the cornerbacks. They, to me, the 49ers are an elite team. The Cowboys are a wannabe elite team right now.
Choke in prime time.
Ooh, right. Stephen A is going to be so happy about this game.
Choke in prime time.
So, and I think that the 49ers offense keeps the defensive line of the Cowboys on their toes, right? Christian McCaffrey out in the slot. Deebo Samuel, all of that stuff. I think the Cowboys defense is just running around, and they're not able to put a whole bunch of pressure on Brock Purdy consistently.
Yep, I agree.
And Dak Prescott, yeah, choke artist. In Monday Night Football, the Raiders hosting the Packers of Green Bay. Packers favored by 1 over under 44.5 points. Jimmy Garoppolo's questionable.
I like the pack here. Alex, put that on my thing. I got a lot there. I understand. Put that one on there. I like the pack here. But it's the Monday. Yeah, put them on there.
I'm going to stay away.
I can't tell if this is me hating the Raiders or not. So I'm going to debate this one pretty hard.
Hey, Mark Davis, he was recorded last week being upset with fans when they told him to fire McDaniel.
I don't think he should get fired. I agree with that.
Mark told them they didn't know anything. I believe he told them they didn't know an effing thing.
That sounds like him.
Yeah, him sitting there with his bowl cut.
Yeah.
Hanging out. I'm going to stay away.
I too will be staying away.
All right.
Alex, take it off there. If you're both staying away, take it off there. Goodbye. Goodbye. Listen, relax, Jim, at the beach is fun.
Is it?
I'm enjoying this a lot more.
Okay. All right, which brings us into college football week 6.
God, isn't that sad? We're almost halfway there, boys.
It's fun. It's getting fun.
Yeah, but it's
right.
almost over.
It's getting slightly less fun, right? Because we've started running the bye weeks in the NFL, so we have less games. We've started to run into the idle and bye weeks in college football. So like not all of our teams are playing at all times. So a little bit less exciting overall. I think we've got about a 2 or 3 week lull in college football before we start getting in some high profile matchups again.
But there's some good matchups still.
There are some matchups this week. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying like where you have like 3 or 4 games that you're like, oh yeah, I really want to see how this game pans out. We have some this week. Don't get me wrong. I didn't see any on Thursday or Friday that I was super excited about. So I just
Me neither.
Nothing on that slate, which gets us into Saturday college football, starting with Rutgers at Wisconsin. Wisconsin is favored by 13, over under 43.5. I
like how we all went.
I'm not going to do it, but I want very much so to take Rutgers plus the points.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say, like, I feel like the natural thing to do would be taking Wisconsin, but my heart leans Rutgers, but my wallet leans neither.
Has Mr. Fickle figured something out up there, Jim?
I think he'll run it down Schiano's throat. My only catch to this is like, will Fickle on purpose, like, is this an Ohio State throwback to like those two going at each other's throats, which tends to bring Schiano out. Like, he tends to show out for these kind of situations. But I think Fickle's smash mouth beats Rutgers, and I'll stay away.
23, Louisiana State University traveling to Missouri, take on the 21st ranked. What's Missouri's mascot? Tigers. LSU favored by 5.5, over under 64.5.
Tiger logo. Missouri. Yeah, Mizzou.
They're not the Missouri Mizzoos, Alex.
Yes, they are.
I doubt it.
I know that they are not, just to clarify. It's the Tigers.
I will stay the hell away from this because anytime I bet on a Missouri game, it bites me in the ass. LSU should win. Like, it should be a handed thing, but
Missouri's looked good.
That's it. We always, I think for the last 3 or 4 years, we've said, at some point Missouri's looked good, and they catch someone, but then at the end of the year, nobody's talking about Missouri because the wheels fall off. So
No.
I'm staying the hell away.
Alex, didn't you have a win for Missouri this year?
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, I'm sure he has.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
It makes
Sure
it very
is.
tempting. I know I'm very tempted to look at the Missouri plus 5.5 here.
Okay. I'm staying away, but you do what you want to do, buddy.
I know.
No.
In the Red River rivalry, 12 Oklahoma traveling to Texas, take on the Longhorns.
Red River Shootout.
Texas minus 6.5 over under 60.5.
Hook 'em
I'm
horns.
I'm gonna put them horns up on this one. I think this
Yes,
is
sir. Me too.
this is a Texas 10 plus point win.
I feel like I've been getting burned on overs, so I'm nervous to take it, but I really want to take the over here.
This is one of those games, Alex, that I think
gonna burn me.
everything about this lines up for this to be an over for you.
I
It's a
know.
high profile Big 12 matchup.
I know. But those are the ones I feel like I get burnt on. But should I do it?
Listen, I'm gonna take Texas to cover over under. I'm not gonna be upset if you go over.
It's a leaner.
It's a leaner. It's a leaner for Alex. Next, Maryland at number 4, Ohio State. Ohio State favored by 19.5. 57.5 is the points line. 2 undefeated teams come into Columbus. Only one survives.
What's your take on the game, Jim?
Ohio State should cover this.
Coming off a bye week.
If I didn't have the bad juju of betting on your team, I would dump money on that water, and you're going to see just a whole new Ohio State, and it's going to be disgusting. Like, that's how I feel.
How much do they have to win by for Columbus to feel happy?
I think 21 points, honestly.
So just to cover.
Yeah, I think they need to feel good walking into Penn State knowing they beat the shit out of Maryland. And at this point, it's about defense for Ohio State going into Penn State. I think we're pretty satisfied with, hey, we beat Notre Dame. The quarterback's, yeah, we accept him. So now it's about beating the living dog shit defensively out of Maryland, not letting Tua, that's his name, right? The Tua
brother.
Tua's brother.
Yeah. Letting him go anywhere and shutting him down.
Yeah, I'm staying away. Not because I feel any issues with either team. I just don't want to be part of this one just yet.
Penn State got a bye this week?
They do.
So is the review.
Wow.
Penn State's schedule is very conducive to them coming into the big games ready to go.
Good. About time.
Marshall traveling to Raleigh.
I mean,
North
really,
Carolina.
Alex made a face, but like they caught a couple years where it's like Michigan, Penn State, or Michigan State. Oh, we'll roll into Ohio State, or Iowa, Michigan, roll into Ohio State. It's about time they got their schedule where they get a break, even as an Ohio State fan.
Marshall traveling to Raleigh, North Carolina to take on NC State. NC State favored by 6.5 over under 44.5. This was just for you, Alex.
I am so tempted to put money on Maryland in this game, but
Marshall
on Maryland, you mean Marshall?
Marshall, sorry, Marshall. My problem with it is I do this every year where I get hyped about Marshall and put money on them, ill-advised, and get burnt on it. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I think Marshall has as good a chance as anyone to go into NC State and win at this point, based on what I've seen. That said, I think they also have a chance to lose.
I haven't seen enough Marshall to tell you. Either way, I think NC State is dog shit. So if you put them on there, I'd be like, yeah, okay, let's see what happens.
You just have to remember, like, while Marshall's exciting and they beat a terrible, terrible Virginia Tech team, they're still on a different caliber of
that's it
than NC State as far as the recruiting pools, who they play, the level that they play out week in and week out. And I'm not saying that Marshall doesn't have the chance to be a good, team at their level and come and get some of these, middle of the road teams. But do I want to put my money on that happening?
Probably not.
I think I'll enjoy watching it, and I root very much for Marshall to win. But I
Yeah,
don't think that I feel good about putting money on it.
I might make a call to Muffneck outside of the best bets and think, hey, throw some money on this one because I'll still be in the state and I'll probably get to watch this. Whereas if I was in Columbus, I wouldn't.
True.
So
There you go.
yeah, but if when I do, I'll throw it at Marshall for sure.
Purdue traveling to Iowa, take on the Hawkeyes. Iowa favored by 1.5, over under 39.5. Iowa is without Caden McNamara, their starting quarterback for the rest of the year, which cannot feel good for, I
Why?
think, ACL, I believe, which cannot feel good for Kirk Ferentz's son, who has to score points to keep his job.
I still think Iowa goes in and wins this game by a field goal.
What,
This
3
game is
nothing?
always a toss-up.
Yeah,
me.
maybe.
I don't like this.
They got the
I'm
kid,
staying
right?
away.
They're going to have the wave. This game is going to be wave to the kids.
Yeah. What do you think, Muff?
I I have no idea who their backup is. I have no idea. I haven't watched anything Purdue related. I'm staying away. I don't even feel confident the over under because a new quarterback for that system could
Yeah, no, I
potentially just unlock the offense.
just feel like Iowa's gonna win, and I feel like they're gonna win by more than 1 point.
I feel like their backup quarterback is the person who like can actually throw, and like, wow, why will we put him in? It seems
I'm
silly
staying.
to put in the better thrower of the two quarterbacks we have. That's not Iowa football. So yeah, I'm gonna stay away. Syracuse at number 14, North Carolina. North Carolina favored by 8.5, over under 59.5. Toss them ducats on the over in this game, gents. I do not feel good about North Carolina's defense. Syracuse does have an offensive prowess, and North Carolina still has Drake May. Give me the over in this game and all them points.
I'm going to tell you on that one. I was going to go with UNC minus 8.5, but I didn't feel good about it. And I think I didn't feel good because of what you said, that defense and at Syracuse. I like what you're reasoning on the over. I like that a lot, actually. So I'm going to hammer that home with you.
Alex, feeling any type of way?
I don't hate it.
Alex makes that noise, and always just like, Alex wasn't maybe thinking about this, but the discussion has made
Let's
Right.
just say, yeah, I don't hate it. I just don't know if I like it more than what I have going on right now.
Okay. That's fair. Alex, can you take the next couple, please?
Yes,
Florida State at Virginia. Florida State minus 23.
I thought you couldn't see
Virginia
all this
Tech.
stuff.
I just can't type. Virginia Tech. So minus 23, Florida State. What are we going to do here? Florida State should be. Florida State. This should be easy. This should be a walk in the park.
It
For
should be.
23.5.
I don't like that number.
Right. Florida State also is the same team that barely beat Boston College.
Exactly.
Right.
I understand this is at Florida State, and I understand all of the emotion that went into that Boston College game. I think this is a potential letdown spot for Florida State. Not that they don't win, but it's a closer game than it should be.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna. I flirted with it and decided against even putting it on my leaners list for that reason.
Yeah. Number 11, Bama at Texas A&M. Bama minus 1.5, over under 46.5. I don't see Bama losing to Jimbo. Right? It's Jimbo, right?
I don't either, but I just don't. I don't have a lot of confidence in the Saban team right now.
Beat the old man.
Right, this could be a beat the old man spot, but
I don't like Jimbo. I don't like that. I don't like Jimbo.
This isn't Lane Kiffin.
But I feel like this one's another solid chance that there could be a beat the old man.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would be the nail in the old man's coffin. I don't know if I want Jimbo to have that feather in his cap.
There.
I'm not betting on that for that sake.
Me either. Stay away.
No, thank you. Wake at Clemson. Clemson minus 20.5, over under 51.5. I lean Wake, but I know that's Dabo bias, so I'm not putting any money on it. But man, that would feel great. I think Clemson still wins. I still think Wake covers, though.
I sprinkled a Marshall and a Clemson game in here for no good reason aside from to hear you two talk about it.
Sad Dabo would be fun. I think Wake's not a bad team. I don't
Wake
think
does not beat Clemson though.
no. I think they cover. Central Florida at Kansas. Kansas minus 1.5. Over under 64.5.
I put this game here because I don't understand why Kansas isn't favored by more.
Central Florida's not bad.
They're
Yeah,
not
no,
bad, but I think Kansas is proven for the most part. I mean, they're still not up there, but they can consistently compete week to week. And I think that right now their program is trending in a not a better direction because I think they're both trending in a positive direction, but I think Kansas is slightly ahead in that battle. I would have expected like a 4 to 5 point spread here. That's it.
Yeah, I locked in.
I agree with that.
I
You
locked
locked
in Kansas at 1.5.
Yeah.
I'm going to lock in Kansas, I should say. But
Right. This is one of those where I should, right? Because I am thinking they're more of a 4 or 5 point favorite, but having not watched Central Florida, I don't know anything about them. So is there a clash of styles here that I'm not aware of? So I'm going to stay away.
I'll use this in the work bet situation, see if I can get old boy to bite. If you're listening to the show, don't do it, but I'll
How do
see
you
if
do
I
that?
can get him to bite. I'll have him. I'll see if he'll take this game, and then we'll see which way he bites.
Is this in what way? These aren't non-power fives, Jim.
No, we only have to have one power five. The rest is
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So then next, Colorado and Arizona State. I'm Colorado minus 4.5, over under 60.5. I've already said I have nothing to do with this game.
I have nothing to do with it. I would lean towards the over, just because Colorado can't seem.
Is Travis Hunter back?
I don't think so. I
I
haven't heard
want
the
nothing to do with
clamor
the game
yet.
anyway.
it's 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah,
So
I
I
haven't
would say
heard the
probably another
clamor.
week.
No, thank you.
If it was my liver, I'd wait one more week.
Right?
Well, Alex, if it was just somebody that
If
you
it's
were
your liver,
evaluating
it's dead already.
yeah, you just sorry.
Yeah,
It's
no,
his,
you're fine.
it's his
You're
spleen.
fine.
It's his
Swing the
spleen, though,
bat.
right? It was lacerated liver. You're right. So if
Yeah.
you were looking at it, you'd be like, nope, you're good.
Yep.
Get
I'd
back
be like,
in there.
get up there and swing the bat.
Number 20, Kentucky at number 1, Georgia. Georgia minus 14.5, over under 47.5.
This is a spot. This could be a letdown spot for Georgia.
I don't think
The
it's a letdown.
That's all
spot for
they've been
Kentucky.
doing is letting down. I don't think it's a letdown. If anything, I think that spread's too high.
So do I. I think Kentucky covers this.
Yeah.
Doesn't make my card.
No.
Just because I
Because
have.
Georgia could show up.
Yeah.
Right. This could be them starting to turn the corner of like, oh, we have to start playing real football now.
Right.
I think this week will really tell us something about Georgia. Like, have they been holding back or are they truly just down compared to where they've been?
Yeah. I'm going to stay away from this.
Me
Number
too.
2, Michigan at Minnesota. Minnesota minus 19.5, over under 46.5. If Michigan, are you rowing the boat?
I'm not. I'm rowing the boat, but not because I'm going to pick them.
If Michigan is the Michigan everybody talks about, this should be easy walk in the park for them. To me, this is the test for me, and if they're legit, walking into some big games for the rest of the season. They don't cover. They're not a great team, correct, boys?
Well, good teams win, great teams cover. I agree. I think this is one of those games that Michigan could be slightly, I'm going to say hindered, but that Minnesota is just playing so much ball control that they just limit Michigan's
The
possessions.
clock? Are you Ryan Day? Are you saying the clock's going to hurt Jimbo?
I'm saying that Minnesota is going to milk the clock.
Oh.
They're going to put like 5 and 6 minute drives that get like 30 yards and then punt the ball inside the 10.
Do you know how happy that would make me? If the clock was finally affected Jim Harbaugh?
No, I'm just saying they may not be able to cover because of that.
That's what I mean. No, I agree. But if they don't cover because of the clock and they get to use that as an excuse, I'd be like, oh, hey, Columbus fans, look, another team that's affected by the clock. Look out. I would be so happy.
Just so you can shove it back in people's faces. Is that what
Yeah, I'd be like, Michigan, they must suck now. God. Okay. Anyway, number 10, Notre Dame at 25, Louisville. Notre Dame -6.5. Over under 54.5. God, I gotta get off that soapbox from Michigan. Notre Dame should cover this, yeah?
Mm,
I would think.
Louisville's
I think Alex, you've watched some Louisville, right?
Yeah, I've watched Louisville. They're not a bad team. I do not feel comfortable betting Notre Dame to cover. I don't. It's
So
at
why?
Louisville. What do you
Why
mean?
don't you feel comfortable betting this? Is
What
it
is
their
Notre Dame?
performance against Ohio State that puts you off?
Notre Dame has not covered a couple times,
Okay. Okay. I just
and
wondered.
they barely covered last week
Okay.
against Duke. And I think Duke's a better team than Louisville, but I don't think they're head and shoulders better than Louisville. So if Duke can sneak up and almost cover against Notre Dame, I think Louisville has that potential as well. Um, but I could be off, and Notre Dame could show out like they looked like they were going to all year. So that's why
Didn't
I'm not
Louisville
taking.
have a tough time with NC State?
No, they had a tough time against Cincinnati. Maybe you're right. I saw the game against Cincinnati and they had a
Maybe a little
hard
bit of
time.
both.
Yeah. Um, Alex, I think your stance is the stance America has with Notre Dame right now.
You haven't proven to me enough yet that you're going to come out and smack these people around.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is if they had stopped Ohio State at that goal line, this would have been a whole different situation.
Oh yeah, or if they
And
would
that's
have smoked Duke last week.
I'm saying leave the Duke game alone. If they'd stopped Ohio State and then had that Duke game,
Yeah,
it still would have been.
Louisville beat NC State 13-10.
Yeah,
Okay.
And I don't like to play the comparison game, but I think that Notre Dame is a far superior team than NC State,
Far
yeah,
superior.
especially
yeah.
offensively.
I
I
agree.
think Notre Dame and NC State may have similar defenses. So if I was going to lean anywhere, I'd lean Notre Dame to cover.
But I agree with you, Alex. I think it's a great stance. I'm not taking
Yeah,
it
no,
away.
I'm just not going to touch it.
Number 15, Oregon State at Cal. Oregon State -9.5, over under 51.5.
I like this one.
Give me the Beavs. Give me the
I like the
Beavs to
Beavs as well.
cover against Cal. Oregon State is a rushing machine. Cal, not so much a great defensive team. They just got destroyed by Washington. Now, granted, those are two different types of attacks, but I see Oregon State just running the ball all over the field all day long. Oregon State wins by 2 touchdowns plus. Give me the Beavs to cover.
I am with Muff on the Beavs.
Alex, put it on there. I'll lean there. Okay. Yeah, I'll lean it. Arizona at number 9, USC. USC -21.5. Over under 71.5. Tell me why I shouldn't take Arizona plus 21.5.
Because USC could just as easily score 70 points and win by 30.
So stay the hell away from that game.
In which case you may want to go for the over, but
Right?
USC could get in a position where they're just running away and Arizona's passing the ball and they just force turnovers because they're just ball hawking. So it's one of those like risks you take, I think, with USC at this point is they can very well score enough points to be able to cover, but is their defense going to be able to hold up teams enough to be able to cover?
Okay. Washington State at UCLA. UCLA -3.5. Over under 59.5.
I added this. I think I'm going to take Washington State to cover 3.5.
Washington State plus
no
the
cares.
points.
No cares.
Me either. Staying away.
And then Arkansas at Ole Miss. Ole Miss -11.5. Over under 63.5.
You baiting Jim with this, Alex?
I feel like
I just want to hear what he has to say.
I would love to see Ole Miss take it. I think Arkansas is a good team. I would stay away. I worry about Lane being able to cover. I don't think he's a great team.
Okay. I just wanted to hear Jim talk about Lane.
I love Lane Kiffin.
I know you
I
do.
catch a lot of shit from a lot of people, but I love Lane Kiffin.
All right. So, do we go over our cards now?
Now is the time.
Alex, you're gonna have to help because this phone is just jacked up.
That's fine.
Can you take my Eagles game off there, please?
Yes.
One.
All right, that brings us to our best bets as you two try to figure some things out, like two animals trying to mess with a doorknob. There
Or
it
one
is.
animal humping a football.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
Um,
I will start out since
Go
you
ahead.
two are still figuring things out here. I am going to pick one of these two games: Jags at Bills -5.5 or Saints -1 at Patriots, and I'm going to take the Saints -1 off the card. So in the NFL, I'm going to take the Bills to cover 5.5 in London town, but hosting the Jaguars. I'm going to take the Rams +4.5, hosting the Eagles. Take the 49ers to cover 3.5, hosting the Cowboys. And in college football world, I'm going to take Oklahoma, Texas to cover 6.5, hosting Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. Syracuse, North Carolina over 59.5, and Oregon State to cover 9.5, traveling to Cal.
Okay. I am very nervous about this pick on Thursday night, but I feel it in my bones. So I think I'm going to let it ride. And if it bamboozles me, it'll be for sure no Thursdays, but I will take the Commanders -5.5 versus the Bears. I will take the Jags Bills over 48.5 in London. I will take the Colts +1.5 versus the Titans. The Jets +1.5 at the Broncos. And in the college world, I will take the Red River Shootout to go over 60.5. Kansas to cover -1.5 versus Central Florida. And Oregon State -9.5 at Cal, and Washington State +3.5 at UCLA. What'd you do that for?
No, method to the madness.
Okay.
For me in the NFL, I'm taking the Cowboys or the 49ers -3.5 against the Cowboys. The Bills -5 against 5.5 against the Jags. The Colts +1.5 against the Titans. The Jets +1.5 against the Broncos. In college, I'm taking Texas -6.5 against Oklahoma. The over, I think this is my first over, 59.5 in the UNC Syracuse game. And I'm taking Oregon State -9.5 against Cal.
All right.
That brings us into the specialty picks. First, the discussion for the Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week.
So we're all on the Bills game. I feel good about that. And Alex has the over.
I'd be willing to make it the -5.5. I just chose I had that as a lean. I just chose to take the over only and not both.
So I'm cool with that. But remember, that's going in the parlay. So are we 100% on that?
I feel good about it.
On the Bills to cover.
Yeah.
I feel more confident in Oregon State to cover in the college world 9.5 at Cal.
We all on that?
Here we are.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's do it.
The Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week is Oregon State to cover 9.5, traveling to Cal. In the Midwest Mobster risky pick of the week,
I like the Colts.
we just forego all sound effects because you're in another state.
Get out of here.
You just
Get out of here. I'm sorry.
forget. You just forget. We're on a 4-1 streak with this, and you're like, oh well, let's just change things up.
I'm sorry. Let's do it over again. Let's do a redo.
In the Midwest Mobster risky pick of the week,
Get out of here.
Moneyline Dog, which again will remind Jim is a team that is plus the points that we're going to take to win outright.
I like the Colts.
I've got the Colts or the Jets.
I feel more comfortable with the
Washington
Colts.
State, but you guys aren't interested in that.
Why? I want to know why you feel more comfortable with the Colts.
Because I think it's a win. I think the Jets could.
Well, obviously.
I think the Jets could blow it on us. We're one butt fumble
Well,
away from losing that game.
The Colts are also one hit on their quarterback away from having the backup in.
We still got Gardner Minshew in there, don't we?
Minshew mania.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. I'm not going to sit there and say it's a bad thing.
Whereas the Jets have who if Wilson gets hurt and the man makes mistakes and gets distracted by Cougars. Like, he's a liability for us.
Do you have any other suggestions to bring to the table that you were thinking?
I don't think I mean, no, not that I would take outright. I mean, I have the Rams plus the points, but I'm not going to put that up as that type of pick.
I agree. I'm okay with the Colts, obviously.
We just found it, boys. The Midwest Mobster Risky Pick of the Week is Colts Moneyline hosting the Titans. And next, in the Lolita Whale of a Parlay, we have Oregon State to cover 9.5, traveling to Cal as the Mike Allstott hits pick of the week as the first option in there. Alex, between me and you, we have to pick who goes first. It's the light. It's time for the light.
I agree. Good.
You get to choose.
Light. I'm the light.
Good news is the light is winner.
Oh, so I get to pick a line in here. I am going to go Kansas minus 1.5 for Central Florida.
Okay, toss it in.
Oh, what's that to me?
Yes, that was
whatever. Okay.
Get your pick in there, Alex. I'm going to go Syracuse, North Carolina over 59.5.
Mom, you rat bastard. That was the one I wanted.
Sorry about
it. Give me the Cowboys Niners.
Jim takes the Niners to cover 3.5, hosting the boys.
Feel good about this one this week.
We always feel good.
I know, but this one I feel
like if we get through Saturday, we have one single game to cheer for on Sunday.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's prime time.
Focus.
Well,
so that game will be on while we
record a show.
Ooh, that could be fun. Saturday night, though, we're probably not going to be up to know the Oregon State Cal outcome.
No, we will not.
So that might be fun to wake up to, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. That wraps up this week's episode of Sports Stuff, Betting Stuff. As a reminder, you can follow us at SportsGymMuff on Instagram and Twitter, SportsStuffW/Jim _Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like.
Get the bell on and tickle us.
Ding.
And tickle us.
Ding, ding.
Ding, ding. Tickle us all the way to win land. And whenever that happens, and next Friday comes around, it's going to be a
payday.